Hey everyone, this is Alex with another rapid-fire style review for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I find myself in the extremely fortunate position of being able to review both major Ubisoft titles in a row. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the 12th major Assassin's Creed game and the 5th game on the Anvil Next 2.0 graphics engine that came out in 2014. It was primarily developed by Ubisoft Montreal, but had some help from 14 other Ubisoft studios. This is a game I was actually pretty excited for. Well, as excited as I can get for a modern Ubisoft title. I rather enjoyed the last two Assassin's Creed games. They were flawed and weren't great by any means, but I did enjoy them and do consider them both good games with about a 7 out of 10 score. So since this looked like a simple Viking reskin of the previous two games, I was really looking forward to playing Valhalla. The game starts off pretty slow, and I didn't care too much for the storyline that you're forced into right away. Apparently your character is an idiot who went off to attack the huge baddie who killed your dad, even though your adoptive father and king told you not to, and you fail miserably. You get you and all your friends captured, and the only reason you live is because the huge baddie who killed your dad is written like a Bond villain, and not the good Bond villains. I suppose the other reason you survive is there wouldn't be a game otherwise. Then a few things happen. You are reunited with your brother figure who's been away doing cool things, probably far more fun than you were. The game picks up a little bit. You kill some people, you get a wrist blade, you find out the Raven is useless, and you end up in jolly old England. The intro to this game, in all honesty, is not very good. I didn't find it very interesting or fun to play. The combat in the beginning of the game is pretty meh. Though these newer Assassin's Creed games are actually RPGs, so I guess the beginning of game combat is supposed to be bad. Some dialogue here and there, and there's some choices to be made, or you were given the illusion of choice, which turns out to be kind of funny in a sad way. So many times it was crystal clear that the dialogue didn't matter at all, and they didn't even bother to hide it. At this point I was worried that the reskin was turning out to be a photocopy of a photocopy, something that was somehow worse than the thing it was copying. Once you get to England and start your little settlement, the game gets better. And not just a little better. The game actually felt pretty great here. There's a good-looking open world to explore, and this one actually has an abundance of things to do in it. One of my bigger complaints about the previous two Assassin's Creed games is, while they had big areas to explore, there just wasn't enough to fill the world out. Here, there are plenty of side quests. Now, certainly not all of them are memorable, but there are so many and some with real benefit that I did almost every single one. I got a cat for my ship, I got a wolf and a fox pet for my settlement, but the damn game won't let me pet either of them. No matter how much you love Mouse, you can never pet Mouse.
No! Why?
This is some bullshit. This should lose the game an entire point. Mouse, get off my
But
bed.
it lets you pet the other one. Why not this one?
You can't pet the fox either, because I have a settlement fox. I roofied myself in a rather bizarre side quest I thought was going to a really dark place. I helped a crazy cat lady build a shrine to her long-dead cat and may have accidentally blown up all of her other cats in the process. This was something I actually felt so bad about I reloaded the save file. I stalked the countrysides, hunting all manner of wildlife like a Viking Elmer Fudd during wabbit season, cursing that they'd never drop the rarer resources. I mean, how do you kill 10 rabbits and not get one damn rabbit foot? There are also tons of epic monsters, witches, and other mini-bosses all over if you're looking for a challenge. Like all RPGs, the more side quests you do, the more powerful you get. You get upgraded weapons, armor, and abilities. Once you get a few cool abilities unlocked, the boring raiding missions aren't actually so bad anymore. They're still the same kind of boring missions, but rapid-firing out throwing axes at multiple dudes or rushing down the mini-bosses and savagely beating them to death with your fists is kind of fun and gives you the variety you need. Some of the abilities are actually absurd, like catching projectiles fired at you and then throwing or shooting them back, like Viking Jack Burton. Silly, but fun. And it makes sense within the story to be a little overpowered. It's certainly better than feeling underpowered and lame throughout the game. There are also minigames, drunken archery events, mead-chugging contests, flighting or Viking rap battles, and Orlog, a dice-rolling game which is far, far better than I initially thought it would be. Now, it's certainly not as good as Gwent was, but games rarely are, but I still never turned down an NPC's offer to play. The middle portion of the main story is standard Ubisoft stuff. It's the epitome of average. Your character needs something, typically an alliance with some Jarl or king in the area. The NPC wants you to do something first for them, normally killing a bunch of people. And then you form a strong alliance, and then someone wants to have sex with you. Speaking of which, if you liked how Odyssey had the horny dial set to 11, you'll like Valhalla too. More than enough people here are trying to jump your bones.
Yeah, where you
How are you, Luna? Holding up?
My nights are newly cold.
My lady left me.
Give me some cuddles.
I had. Sorry to
I'll
hear
cuddle
it,
you.
Tuna.
Like
Maybe
get
set
free
your sights
work,
a bit
I'll cuddle him.
lower.
Lower? My friend, look at my wares, my weapons. I'm
I
not
get
the
free
man
weapons,
to
I'll
settle
cuddle
for
him.
less than the finest
He's
of
like, I'm
anything.
cold at night. I was like, come warm you up, give us some free weapons.
Jesus Christ. Later on, you meet a diverse cast of Vikings and Saxons, and this time I would say that most are written well enough. Though as always in Ubisoft games, it always feels like a good portion of these characters are written for people who put their whole mouth over the drinking fountain. There's got to be some writer at Ubisoft who absolutely hates people who buy their games, and writes as though if they are the dumbest people on earth. There is no reason for a game rated M for mature to have things written with so little care or nuance. The bad guys don't need to remind you that they are the bad guys every time they speak. The look of the game and the NPCs is decent for an older engine, with one big exception. The kids. The kids in this game are absolutely horrifying little monsters. They all look like partially melted haunted dolls. I know that The Witcher inspired a lot of the content here, but they went too far when they made all of the kids look like Johnny the Godling. Like the previous Assassin's Creeds, we spend most of our time in the Animus playing what I like to call the good part of the game. Then Ubisoft will randomly decide to absolutely murder the momentum and immersion by switching over to the modern day stuff. Look, I get that this is their shtick, I just don't like it. But fortunately, there isn't a ton of it in this game. Though if you do like switching back and forth, there are some side quests around the map which have you do a modern-day VR platforming puzzle type thing to fix anomalies. So if you want to take a break from the good stuff and go to the other stuff, that's an option for you. The final section of the main story goes off the rails a bit, like all of the previous games. In a universe where we are used to blood magic VR without a fast-forward option, cataclysmic world resets, immortality-granting artifacts, ancient civilizations, and all manners of nonsense, this one continues to push the envelope. I won't get into spoilers, though, for those that do like all the previously mentioned stuff that I don't. You may like this attempt to wrap everything together. It attempts to combine almost a decade worth of stories into one neat package. This wouldn't be a modern Ubisoft review without a bug section, and Valhalla has plenty. Walls in the game can just swallow you. If you jump forward toward a wall or down, especially in a corner, you can get stuck in falling animations, and you get stuck there 5-10 seconds, and then the game just kills you. Loot is constantly getting stuck inside the world. You'll kill NPCs, and the loot will just be gone. It shows it's directly under you, but it's unreachable. This is super fun when it's like keys or other necessary things for quests. Bosses can also get stuck at the edge of the fighting arena, and they just get stuck there. They don't attack, they don't do anything. It turns a fun encounter into hitting a practice dummy. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of minor little graphical bugs all over too. Hair often looks terrible, characters' faces don't match, clothing disappears, but they were nice enough to give us a new Wee Man.
Oh, I guess I got the loot. Yeah, I got it. Whoa, what's going on with that guy? Oh, where'd he go? Whoa! 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 Shit! Where the fuck is this guy
Let's go
going?
follow him. I don't know, but let's follow him. I want to see where this fucker goes.
Oh shit! Teach me your ways, man. And he went over.
Over the wall, man. Where'd he go?
Oh, did we lose him? I think we lost him. Fuck! We lost him!
Oh, no, he can't be lost. Is he on the wall?
I don't know where he's
Go
at.
left. For those wondering about the time savers or other nefarious shit that's been in Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed games recently, there are none. At least not as of right now. But they get no points or kudos for it. You don't get praise for not being a piece of shit. This game was always going to have a bit of a hard time with its release window. In recent memory, we have an incredible Viking mythology game with satisfying combat and a great story in God of War. And this year, in my opinion, we had the best Assassin's Creed-style game ever made in Ghost of Tsushima. And this is being compared to both of them. It's unfortunate because this game is good, but it's not anywhere near as good as either of those titles. The bar has been raised for this style of game, and Ubisoft simply didn't get the memo. Though I do feel that this is the best out of the three modern Assassin's Creeds, with Origins and Odyssey. But not by much. So in the end, we have a game that's kind of all over the place. We have a slow starting reskin with buggy reused gameplay mechanics, but has a truly satisfying middle section whose side quests and open world are so thoroughly fleshed out that it's almost good enough to justify the price on its own. I am so tired of being disappointed in Ubisoft games. I keep using terms like unfulfilled potential, idea bankruptcy, and bland to describe what they've been putting out recently. So this was a nice change. I was even somewhat impressed with what they put out, which means I was only slightly disappointed this time. Valhalla, when it actually gets going, shows that they have the ability to make games that I love to play, that I want to get lost in. They just need to work on smoothing the experience out. I've sunk over 100 hours into this game, and I'm probably going to play it a little bit more. I give Assassin's Creed Valhalla a 7 out of 10. A pretty good game from Ubisoft. Finally. So let us know what you thought of the game in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Lady, do you want to play some Watchdog Legions?